But the closing statement is this, and I would love for each of you to answer. At Parents of Public Schools, we promote the fundamental value of public education in ways to promote public schools to all San Francisco children and families so that they choose SFUSD. What will you do to promote public schools so that families who are not in public school right now will choose to come to public school?
Again, I think if we commit to excellence, everything else will take care of itself. Um, um, in terms of infrastructure, I think there's a huge opportunity with our early education programs and partnering with Department of Early Childhood. It's a new department, but I've worked with we worked with 700 small childcare providers, small business owners. And we could do better to promote public schools to our small business owners and our early early childhood providers across the city, and be able to create a more seamless experience between the early education programs and SFUSD. So they have not been connecting, and even as a parent myself trying to navigate the system, even though I was an insider working in the sector, there were many things I wished that I had, including a roadmap of when to apply for what and where, and how to figure out what is the best program for my kiddo, and taking into account, transportation issues, and the different before and after care programs for families. So I think if we can really tighten up our systems between different departments, between the different city departments, early childhood, rec and park, and create a seamless education system with before and after care options that are equitably available for all families in all of our neighborhoods. I think we can do a much better job at attracting families to stay in the system and providing programs that are of interest. So easier access to sports and language programs, and other career pathways that would keep our older students interested, and connections to different industries, like what Mission Bay was supposed to do, but is not done yet. But we can expand on those programs and really create a dynamic and more compelling, engaged experience for our students.
I mentioned earlier that I visited a lot of our schools, and I believe strongly that we have some of the best public schools from a perspective that they're very reflective of our communities, of our families, of our kids. And I've met a lot of principals, educators, families, kids. I've sat in classes, and it is such an asset for San Francisco. And there's no reason why public education can't be the very best. We have so many talented people in the city that we can draw from. So I just wanted to reiterate and reemphasize that. I've been to Balboa, I've been to APG&E, George Washington, Clarendon, and then more recently with the schools that were on the list that were potentially going to be closed. And I would say this, that a lot of families actually stay in San Francisco because of those schools. Especially, I'll share a couple examples. The language immersion program. There are families that actually specifically stay in public school system because of that program. There are people that stay specifically because of Lowell. There are people that stay specifically because they strongly believe that Yick-Wool is a wonderful place where the kids can really thrive. Sutro is a great place. June Jordan, Harvey Milk, right? Because the equity program. I can go on and on. So I do think that there's incredible assets here in the SFUSD that we haven't probably done a great job of really elevating. Having said that, I would say that when parents make choices for their kids, there are lots of choices out there. There are charter schools, private schools. And from a business standpoint, when you are one of those options, then what you need to do is make sure that your option is as good, if not better, than your competition. And so it's really important when we look at ourselves as SFUSD to think about like what can we be doing to really raise the performance, raise the bar on our curriculum. Make sure we take good care of our educators because there's some really great educators in school now, and also the ones that left the profession that really want to come back. So we need to make sure we figure out how to do that really well. We do need to fix the maintenance, repair of some of our schools, many of our schools actually. So I think that's important. We talked about the harassment and violence. All these things we do need to do. We can't do any of them though until we fix the fiscal crisis. And it is fixable. So I want to leave this with a positive note. It is solvable. I've spent time looking at it. And from a revenue perspective, there are federal grants we can go after. At the state level, our allocation per pupil is not the highest in California. We're somewhere in the middle. We should advocate for something a lot better than that. At the local level, we need to do more on fundraising. On the cost side, we need to take a look at direct costs optimization, and that's at central office, not the school, but central office. We also need to look at that supply base that I mentioned earlier on the indirect spend side. There's a lot of savings we can get there. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the balance sheet side, line of credits. We've got 3 lines of credit, which is eating away interest for us. Plus, we have a lot of assets, across the district as well.
So just very quickly, you know, I'm not naive going into this. I know we got some really, really deep problems with the school system. You know, the trust has been broken, and we've all experienced that in our own lives. When you don't trust a person, what do? You turn away. So we really got to humble ourselves and go to the families and just give them a sincere sorry, and then work with them and not behind closed doors, but in front of them, with them, together in a very transparent way. That's the only way I see us working this out. We have to rebuild trust. Thank you.